California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough.
I'm Tavis Smiley, and in this hour, I am delighted to have a conversation for the hour with one of the hippest guys I have ever met in my life. I've been waiting on this. It took a while, but they say better late than never. He has finally sat down to write his memoir. It's called What Have We Here? Portraits of a Life. And if you are, let me turn this book to the camera. If you're watching this right now, you can see the cover of this book. Rarely have I seen a cover that is more majestic than the photograph on this cover of this book called What Have We Here? Portraits of a Life. Let's commence in a moment a conversation with Billy D. Williams.
I'm a widow from the South Side.
Who said that? Who said what?
My old man left me with 6 kids. The heat's been off a week, and they all got the flu. What are you gonna do about that?
Who said that? Will the lady who said that please step? I can't see who said that. Please let the lady who said that step forward, please.
Mr. Walker, when you're elected, what are you gonna do to help me?
Do you want me to help you with your landlord, lady?
Hell no! I want you to get me my old man back.
Oh, madam, if you really want your old man back, are you prepared to stand by him when the going's getting rough?
Yes!
Madam, would you be willing to put your imagination to work on behalf of the cause he's fighting for?
Yes!
Madam, would you love and cherish him for the rest of your life?
Yes!
Madam,
Yes!
if you're willing to do all that, I guarantee you, I'll get you your old man back.
Then, mister, you got my vote. You knew how I loved you, but my spirit was free.
So let me tell you, I was up late last night. I mean, really late last night, listening and watching clip after clip after clip. These decisions aren't made summarily. I had to decide which clip I wanted to commence this conversation with Billy D. Williams. And in a legendary career, there are so many great clips that one could choose to commence a conversation with Billy D. Williams. As a kid growing up in Indiana, I could never have imagined I'd ever meet Billy D. Williams, much less be able to call him a friend. But I am honored to have my friend on this program. Billy D. Williams, what do you think of the clip I chose to start with? Did I do okay?
Yeah, it was great.
you always go ahead. You first. Go ahead.
No. I was just thinking when I was listening to it. I was thinking about the day we shot that. It was in Chicago and it was freezing, and I could hardly talk. My mouth went numb on me, you know. So that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah. I am always amazed at the backstory that actors have, because you're right. Every time we see a clip or hear sound, there's always a story about what happened the day that thing got recorded, the day it got filmed. And so to hear Billy D say it was freezing outside and his mouth kind of got numb on him. But you got your lines out, and that is a classic scene if ever there was one. And I'm just so thrilled to be able to bring it to this audience once again, because every time I hear it or see it, it just does something to me. The score on that, obviously, movie, the score is amazing. The acting is amazing. But that particular scene just does something to you every time you hear it. I'm delighted to have Billy D. Williams for the hour, just getting started here. His memoir is out. It's called What Have We Here? Portraits of a Life, and I could not be more thrilled than to spend the next 50 minutes with our friend Billy D. Williams on Tavis Smiley.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley. Tavis Smiley. Ranked number 45 on the Heavy 100 list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America.
Hey y'all, Mona Swain here from Target's new YouTube series, My Cart is Full, where we feature Black founders and creators highlighting their connection to our community. As an actor and content creator, I love using my voice to inspire young Black women who look like me. When it comes to feeding my shine, seeing myself reflected in Black-owned and founded products at Target brings me joy. Together, we are Black Beyond Measure. Learn more at target.com/Black Beyond Measure.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler.
I'm Cookie Serratos and I'm 11 years old.
She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze Fruit on the Go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Go, Cookie!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
So you just used bug spray in your home. Now what? Well, between the waiting and waiting for things to dry up and keeping your family away from the mess, it hits you. You could have used Zevo. Unlike other bug sprays that stick around, Zevo goes from kill to clean in seconds. Plus, it's safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Zevo, people-friendly, bug-deadly.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
In the heart of California, where innovation thrives, access to high-speed internet is important to every family and business. Cal Broadband is the state's leading expert in the development and deployment of broadband infrastructure. Each day, we work to help advance the right policies that will expand the opportunities of reliable, high-speed internet to every community in our Golden State. Cal Broadband is working hard to connect California. Visit calbroadband.org for more information. That's calbroadband.org.
Let's get back to more of Tavis Smiley right now.
Billy, get the money. Go on, get it.
You want my arm to fall off?
If ever there were a classic line, that's all you need to hear. that's all you need to hear. Billy D, tell me about that line right quick. Tell me about that line, man.
Well, it was very interesting. I was being at that. It was the first time I was being treated in a. I don't know how to say it. In a way that they used to treat the old movie stars, as far as lighting was concerned. So, I mean, it was, I hardly, at that moment, I mean, it was difficult for me to get through that whole moment. I was laughing so much because I was getting special lighting, and that was the first time I had ever experienced anything like that. So, but it was a magical moment.
Oh, that's an understatement. It was more than magical. That moment is resonant all these years later.
Yeah, it's pretty it's memorable.
Yeah.
And Barry was very good at coming up with great dialogue that was memorable dialogue.
Yeah. Since you mentioned Barry, of course, we're talking about Barry Gordy here. Barry Gordy has a beautiful blurb, the first blurb on the back of Billy's book, What Have We Here? Portraits of a Life. He's finally written his memoir. And on the back of the book, again, the very first blurb comes from one Barry Gordy. Let me just ask a broad question, and we'll jump from here. Just share with me in your own words, of course, you write about it in the book, what it was like being in this moment where you're working with Barry Gordy, Diana Ross, all of you at the top of your game at this moment. And if ever there, again, were film projects where there was just so much black excellence on display in one space, just, again, in your own way, Billy D., tell me what it was like just being in that moment with all of that black excellence on stage, on the set.
Well, I guess it was a really wonderful moment working with Diana, and she and I were like two little kids in a playpen, and of course working with Barry was, when you think of somebody who, when you went to a record store, you saw classical music, you saw pop music, you saw jazz, you saw all of the various categories, then you see Motown. So to work with somebody that extraordinary was a very, very, an absolute special experience.
Yeah. I want to pivot, if not so gently. We jumped into a conversation about your career rather immediately because we played that amazing clip, played a couple clips now that kind of took us in a particular direction. I'm okay with that. But let me just pivot, though, if I can, to ask you to share with me what it was like growing up as a kid in Harlem when you grew up.
Well, Harlem was I grew up on 110th Street between Lenox and 5th, right across the street from Central Park. And in that area, you had some really pretty extraordinary people like Nipsey Russell, and who lived right up the street. You had the Hugh and Jack, who was the first Manhattan borough president. You had Dr. Channing Tobias, who was the head of the NAACP at that time, and of course you had some of the most beautiful, most extraordinary call girls living in that area. Harlem was a very special place in those years.
Yeah. Since you mentioned call girls, I'm going to follow you there. I'm going to follow you this whole hour for that matter. It's always I can never go wrong following Billy D. Williams. So I'm going to follow you throughout the hour. Since you mentioned call girls, I'm glad you did this because I have a critique of books. I obviously in the course of my career interviewed more authors than I can count, and I've written a few books myself. And my thing is this: if you're Billy D. Williams or any other person, and you're going to write a memoir, just tell the truth. What is the point of writing a book and not being transparent? Just put it out there. And readers can tell when you're not being fully forthcoming, and then the critics jump into it and they tell you a new one anyway. So if you're going to write a memoir, what's the point of doing it if you're not going to be transparent? And you've been transparent, if nothing else. So your comment now about those call girls, those beautiful call girls that lived in your neighborhood, in the book, you've been very, very open. You are very open about your own, how might I put this for PG radio, about your own love life. Pretty transparent about that. Did you find that easy, or did you have to fight with yourself to put that on the page?
No, at this juncture in my life, I mean, I'll be 87 in April. And so to talk about these things for me is, it's like I've had this wonderful, whimsical adventure, and I think, it was very interesting. Many years ago when I was a kid, I read J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye.
Oh, yeah.
And I always sort of related to that kid. I was always this sort of a young man who had a real sense of adventure. And I think of myself as a walking absurdity, really. I think of myself as somebody who's just in some odd, maybe not innocent, but sometimes innocent, but certainly naive way, sort of journeying through all of these experiences. And I just thought that it would be nice to talk about these things. It would be fun to talk about these things.
Yeah, as I mentioned.
But I have I don't feel any kind of reservation about talking about all of this kind of silliness and all of this craziness.
Yeah, well, it is
wonderfulness.
Yeah. I'm about to add another word to that. I'll take wonderfulness. I'm not going to give too much of this away, but he if you want to know about his love life and his dalliances and all the parties and the girls, and let me put it nicely, multiple girls in multiple situations. There's a lot of stuff in the book about his love life. He does not hold back in that regard. Of course, again, when you're a sex symbol like Billy D has been for his career, it'd be kind of hard to write a book and not go there to some degree, which leads me to ask, how have you worn this?
Well, I love romance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And romance has always been very much a part of my life. I never think of myself as a super stud or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm always attracted to all of the romance that life can bring.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, you were going to say what?
No, romance works, man. Romance works. I was going to say, since I'm on the same thing with you, talking about romance here, how have you, we have seen physically how you've worn this garment of being a sex symbol, but mentally, emotionally, psychologically, how have you navigated this journey for so much of your career of being not just a brilliant actor, but a sex symbol?
Well, I don't really think about it, to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's just silliness to me. So it's always been a kind of a journey that I never really looked for. It just kind of just happened.
Yeah.
So,
was the sex symbol stuff more? How about I put this? Was it more? Did it box you in more, or did it bring you greater opportunities? All when all said and done.
Well, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's whimsical fun. I chuckle a lot about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't really spend much time thinking about it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Let me go back to something right quick. You said something I wanted to get to. We jumped in different directions, and I'm okay with that. But I don't want to lose sight of this. I don't know that you know this, but I have paid attention to it. I said earlier I've been honored in my life to not just meet Billy D. Williams, but to call him a friend. and just threw it at this conversation about his new book, What Have We Here? Portraits of a Life. But I have noticed in all the years I've known you and talked to you, I've never had a conversation with you where you did not tell me about some book that you read. And I've been always fascinated by that. Where and how did you develop this love of reading? You've written a book, but you've always struck me as a voracious reader, and that's a part of your backstory that people may not know. You mentioned J.D. Salinger, Catcher in the Rye. You read when you were much younger, but tell me about your love of reading and whether or not I've misread that, because that's what I see when I talk to you all these times.
Well, I don't know if I'm a voracious reader, but I mean, there are certain things that always. I think as an actor, first of all, or as a creative entity in this life, I think you should embrace not only going to the museum, but also you should certainly do a lot of reading. I think that's really essential. I think as long as you're interested in what goes on around you, then certainly books become a source. But I was, before I put this book together, this took 2.5 years to do. I was I'm still working on it, on a book that I want to do, that I've been working on for about over 20 some years, a coffee table book, talking about my life through my paintings, which is pretty fascinating. But book is, I mean, I think I'm an average person when it comes to reading book. I've met lots of people who are much more who are more into books than I am. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I don't spend a lot of time. I just do it.
Yeah.
I don't spend a lot of time.
Yeah, the painting. I'm glad you went there. I want to cover that too. So let's talk about the painting. How and when did you develop a love of that? And I mean, you've been doing it for decades now. But how did the painting become a part of your repertoire?
Well, I mean, I've been painting since I was a child. So it's all of my life. But my whole life has been revolved around, creativity since I was a child. It's either been painting or it's even music to some degree. I mean, I did an album back in 1961 called "Let's Misbehave" with Billy D. Williams. You know the song? Yeah. You know the song "A Taste of Honey"?
Yes.
Well, it was written for me when I did the play on Broadway with Laurence Olivier, with Joan Plowright, and Angela Lansbury. But and as a result of that, I ended up doing an album.
Yeah.
For Prestige label.
Yeah. I'm just.
But so I've never been a thug. I've always been this very creative person, and that's But again, I don't ever get a feeling that I'm looking for anything. It all somehow comes my way, in my direction.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those kind of people. If I decide I want to go right, there's always some intuitive thing that says, no, Billy, go left. So I go a lot with my instincts.
Tell me, since you went there, tell me about the journey of learning to trust those instincts. A lot of us have. I mean, we all have instincts, but many of us never learn to trust our instincts. You have, though.
Yeah, because I'm a silly little boy, who has no idea where I'm going or why I'm going. I don't know. I think, I don't know. You trust it. If you're kind of, I have a lot of vulnerability in me. I'm I trust something. I don't know why I trust it, but I just go with it, just to see, just to find out. Like all of those adventures with all of those crazy ladies that I've known in my life.
Yeah, there are a lot of those stories, I said in the book. I'm still laughing because what else would Billy D. Williams call an album except Let's Misbehave? Let's Misbehave with Billy D. Williams. That'll make a lot more sense to you when you actually read the book. I can't do justice to his career in an hour, but I got a half hour to go, and we haven't even gotten to his being the first black character in the Star Wars universe. Lando. We've not gotten to one of my all-time favorite Billy D. Williams roles and films, with James Caan, Brian's song. It's quite a life. I'm just glad he finally got around to telling us more about it. His memoir is out now. It's called What Have We Here? Portraits of a Life. How blessed are we to be in dialogue on Tavis Smiley right now with Billy D. Williams.
Seeking the truth. Speaking the truth. This is the Tavis Smiley Show.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys claims he's being extorted for $100 million. Dak Prescott is suing a woman who made a sexual assault allegation against him. In a statement, his lawyers say the star has never engaged in any non-consensual sexual conduct with anyone. The accuser claims the rape happened nearly a decade ago. The lawsuit alleges that she demanded cash in exchange for not going to police. North Carolina is in the gambling business. Online sports betting kicked off yesterday and is expected to draw in $6 billion in the first year. The state's Democratic Governor, Roy Cooper, signed off on legislation last year, paving the way for 8 different sports books to offer wagers through apps. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Can't wait weeks for your tax refund? Then don't. At Jackson Hewitt, get money today if you're approved for a no-fee refund advance loan on a prepaid card. Book today at jacksonhewitt.com. No-fee refund advance offered to eligible clients. Application required. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
NAACP President Derek Johnson is asking black student athletes in high school and college to reconsider attending colleges in the state of Florida. Johnson's request is in response to a decision by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to eliminate funding for diversity, equity, and inclusion programs at all state-funded colleges in Florida. On March 1st, the University of Florida ended its DEI program, which eliminated jobs of 15 people at the university. Johnson also sent a letter Monday to NCAA President Charlie Baker expressing his concerns. Johnson hopes his message reaches a lot of black student athletes, especially high school athletes who are being recruited by the University of Florida and other Florida schools. If black student athletes and their parents embrace Johnson's message, athletic programs in Florida will face some very tough consequences. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like your style, though.
Helping to broaden your political and moral imagination with our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
If you're looking for the most epic place on earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
He's rooting for everybody black. Everybody black. More of Tavis Smiley coming your way right now.
You can have a great career, and you should. Only one thing stops you, dear, you're too good. If you want a future, baby, why don't you get a past? 'Cause that fatal moment's coming at last. We're all alone, no chaperone.
Billy D. Williams knows how I do it. You can't tease me with something and think I ain't gonna pull it up, Billy D. Williams. This is Billy D. in 1961. Let's Misbehave. Billy D. Williams accompanied by the George Corey Ensemble. And y'all thought he just was handsome and could act. No. This is Billy D. Williams with some chops.
Let's misbehave. When Adam won his hand, he wouldn't stand for teasing.
So now you know he's more than just a triple threat. He sings, he acts, he paints. He's just an all-around great guy. I'm just tickled by so many of the posts, Billy D, that people are sharing right now about you. I'm just so much stuff to even pile through, to pour through, right? About how much people love you, that you come across, they say, so humble, and you don't take yourself too seriously. I'm seeing a lot of comments from people listening right now who are echoing that same thing. For a guy who is a legend in the way that you are, you come across to them, Billy D, as not taking yourself too seriously. You want to comment on that?
You're absolutely right about that. I don't take myself seriously. As I said to you earlier, I think I'm a walking absurdity.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it allows me to keep improving. I have to keep forcing myself to get better.
Yeah, well, I can't. I've seen your art, and I don't think you do much better at that. And we've all seen your acting, and you cannot get much better than that. And speaking of brilliant acting, here is some sound. I mentioned earlier when I played that Mahogany clip, every time I hear it, it does something to me. And I've got a box of Kleenex on the floor next to me right now because every time I hear this, I go into tears.
I'd like to say a few words about a guy I know, a friend of mine. His name is Brian Piccolo. And he has the heart of a giant. And that rare form of courage which allows him to kid himself and his opponent. Cancer. He has a mental attitude which makes me proud to have a friend who spells out courage 24 hours a day, every day of his life. Now, you flatter me by giving me this award. But I say to you here and now, Brian Piccolo is the man of courage who should receive the George S. Hallis Award. He's mine tonight. And Brian Piccolo's tomorrow. I love Brian Piccolo. And I'd like all of you to love him too. And tonight, you hit your knees. Please ask God to love him.
There are two families in my life. I don't care how many times I see them. I cannot hold back the tears. One is Imitation of Life, and the other is Brian's Song, starring Billy D. Williams, out now with his memoir, What Have We Here? Portraits of a Life. Billy D., tell me anything about Brian's Song.
Well, you got me in tears over here. Listening to it.
You see how good you are, man. You were so good. You got yourself crying at your own acting. That's how good you are, man.
Well, that whole experience was I always regard it as an act of love.
Yes,
it was one of those complete moments that you every now and again, or maybe once in a lifetime, you have. It was just working with Jimmy and working with Buzz Kulick, who was the director. It was like the perfect creative experience. But, I've run into people, men who don't cry, who have. I ran into a bigot once down in the South, and this man probably for the most part of his life, he hated black people, but that one moment, that one experience, changed his whole life. Even if it was just for a moment, it changed his whole life. I run into guys who told me whenever they felt cathartic, they would go into their library, close the door, and put Brian's Song on.
Mm-hmm.
So it had a very deep effect on people's lives. There's no question about it.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier, quoting many of our listeners right now, that you are a very humble person. I know that to be true, that you don't take yourself too seriously. Having known you for years, I know that to be true. And I sometimes wonder whether or not I felt the same way about Prince, who was also a friend. When Prince died, I obviously he's gone, but I would have loved for him to have seen all the love around the world for him after his passing. And I don't think, I say this to you as your friend and brother, I don't think you really understand, Billy D, the power the presence, the passion, the takeaway that people have from these iconic roles that you have played in Lady Sings the Blues and Mahogany and Brian's Song. And again, you're not sitting around to your earlier point thinking about it, but I just want you to know, man, you've touched a whole lot of people's lives with your art, man.
Well, you're very kind. Thank you very much.
No, I mean that, brother. I mean that.
Listen, it's nice to know that you bring some joy to people's lives. That's a nice feeling, especially these days.
Yeah. No, I get it. So when we come forward, again, you can't do justice to a career as in-depth as his in a 1 hour conversation. But we've talked a little bit about Lady Sings the Blues, a little bit about Mahogany, a little bit about Brian's Song, and of course, he was the first black character in the Star Wars universe. We'll talk about Lando when we come forward with Billy D. Williams on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on! What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Hey Californians, are you ready to make your home ownership dreams come true? The California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan Program might be for you. First-generation homebuyers can get down payment and closing cost assistance along with a first mortgage to help you unlock the door of your new home. Applications open in April, so talk to an approved lender to see if you're eligible. Find out more at calhfa.ca.gov/dream or call 877-922-5432. A message from the California Housing Finance Agency.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Follow me. Hurry. Leah sent me a transmission. We need a Kabaya. Okay.
How'd you find us?
Wookiees stand out in the crowd. It's good to see you too, old buddy.
This is General Lando Calrissian.
We know who he is, 3PO.
It is an honor, General. General Calrissian, we're looking for Exegol.
Of course you are.
As if Billy D. Williams hadn't already played enough pop culture icon characters in his career. Then he shows up as the first black character in the Star Wars universe, playing Lando. Tell me something about that, Billy D. Williams.
Well, when I was asked to play Lando Calrissian, when I heard the name Calrissian, because I'm always looking to make my characters bigger than life. Mm-hmm. In other words, I don't really stick to the ethnicity is fine, but there's more to life than just be presenting oneself as in some ethnic, looking at it in specific and in precise terms is not something that really interests me much. I always see myself as the full spectrum of colors, which makes life a lot more interesting, much more innovative. But when I heard the name Calrissian, I thought, wow, that's interesting. That's an Armenian name. So I said, well, let me see what I can do with that. And then when I got the cape, of course, I thought right away, thinking swashbuckler, thinking Errol Flynn, So the combination of those elements, those two elements, really got the ball rolling for me.
Speaking of,
as far as that character is concerned, but I wanted to make a character that was bigger than just the question of his being black.
Yeah, no, you did that. You did it quite nice. As I said, you'd already played a bunch of iconic roles, but that one makes you a true pop culture icon, no question about it. Watching my time is getting away from me. Tell me about this photo on the cover of the book. I started this conversation almost an hour ago saying I love the cover photograph. It is so it's you. Tell me about this cover photo, Billy D.
Well, I wanted something that was captivating.
Yeah.
Something that would grab people. And certainly that's an iconic figure. That character. So I think it really worked very well. It's a great cover.
That's an understatement. It's an amazing cover. That cape and the way it swoops and the way your body is turned and where your head, the angle. I mean, it's an amazing photograph. The book's worth buying just for the cover.
Again, the whole. You're right. Yeah, I mean the whole. It's a good selling point.
Yeah. Again,
it makes you pay attention.
Yeah.
Again, it's making something bigger than life.
Yeah,
and that was the whole purpose.
Well, you nailed it as you always do. You nailed it once again. Our remaining moments with the author of What Have We Here? Portraits of a Life, Billy D. Williams, when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
You heard our guest Billy D. Williams say a moment ago that he intimated in his own words, always wanted to play bigger than his blackness, always wanted to play bigger than his blackness, and he's done that in all these iconic roles he's embodied down through the years. And these days, we've come a long way, all kind of black folk in commercials, very popular commercials these days. But do you remember this?
D. Williams talks about Colt 45.
There are 2 rules to remember if you want to have a good time. Rule number 1, never run out of Colt 45. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. You want to know why you should keep plenty of Colt 45 on hand? You never know when friends might show up. I don't claim you can have a better time with Colt 45 than without it. But why take chances?
The power of Colt 45.
As I said a minute ago, Billy D., everybody black has a commercial these days. Not everybody, because I ain't got one. But you were way out front as a pitchman. Hollywood, and I should say more to the point, Madison Avenue fell in love with you, and they put you out front way back when. When you look back on those Colt 45 commercials all these years later, you think what?
I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, But again, I it's just taking a situation and making it much more than has been anticipated. You bring a kind of a universality to a character, to an idea, and suddenly nobody can resist it.
Yeah. Well, you are. That's one word for you.
The title of the book, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
That's from the Star Wars movie.
That's right.
That's what the first time I meet Princess Leia.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Hello, what have we here?" So the whole idea, of bringing a kind of a romance to situations, I think is a very appealing.
Yeah.
A universality.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see myself as a part of the universe. Like music, like frequency, like vibration.
Well,
anyway, it's
you are a part.
Complicated.
No, it's complicated, but it ain't really that complicated, Billy D. Let me just break it down for you. It ain't that complicated. You are a part of our universe. You are a part of our reality. You are just You're iconic, man, in so many ways. You used that word resist earlier, and that's what so many of us have found you. I speak not just for the women, but indeed for the men. That we all find you irresistible. I closed this hour where I began it. He is one of the coolest people hippest people I've ever met in my entire life. I'm just honored to be a part of his universe and delighted to have had this hour to spend in dialogue with the one and only Billy D. Williams. His book is called, his memoir, What Have We Here? Portraits of a Life. And I want to close on a personal tribute, a personal note, by just saying thank you, Billy D. Williams, for allowing me all these years to enter into your world. And thank you once again, my friend, for this conversation. I deeply appreciate it. More importantly, I love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Well, I love you too, Tavis, and it's good to hear your voice.
Likewise, my friend. You stay strong.
Thank you.
The book,
Thank
once
you.
again. No, I'm sorry. Say it again. Last word. You have the last word. Go ahead and give it to me.
No. I love you, my friend.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I just made my day. The book, the memoir, What Have We Here? Portraits of a Life, Billy D. Williams. Honored to have had him on Tavis Smiley. And just like that, 3 hours gone. Back here tomorrow, Lord willing, to do it all over again. Until then, thanks for tuning in. And as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest.